Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the TWC Show. We are back. It's me and Daniel this week, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us, Daniel and I. Oh yeah, guys. I don't even know what to talk about this week.
So much happened.
We'll start off with the main stuff, I guess, the promoting stuff. Guys, if you aren't already, just sign up to our Patreon. You get all these episodes in video form. I appreciate all the new listeners and the people tuning in, whether it's because I've been sharing clips on the page or if it's because I've been hating on John Cena and you guys want to hear more about it on the podcast. I appreciate you guys subscribing, listening, and all the new listeners to the TWC Show. It means a lot. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, hit the following and subscribe button. Leave a 5-star rating, write a review if you can. It means a lot if you really do. If you are on Spotify, just make sure you follow. And anywhere else you listen, just give us a follow for the TWC Show. You get all my casual conversations as well. And that being said, this Tuesday, my conversation with Gary V drops. I dropped a couple of videos on my page of Gary V showcasing that he's a wrestling fan, saying some of his favorite moments and stuff like that. So, guys, he is a big wrestling fan. He's an entrepreneur. He's a CEO. He's a millionaire. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. He's a big social media mastermind. You've probably seen his motivational talks and reels and clips all over social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, his quotes on pictures. Gary Vaynerchuk, guys, I talked to him. It was a super cool opportunity I got to do, so be sure to check that out. And also currently I'm working and finishing up an article. Hopefully I want it out before next week's Summerslam, but the top 40 Summerslam matches. Guys, this is my personal list according to the Wrestling Classic. I have personally gone back and watched almost all these matches again for like a second or third time. Daniel's watched a few of them with me as well one day. We watched Dolph Ziggler and Rey Mysterio. We watched CM Punk and Jeff Hardy. We watched Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam 2003.
Really good.
I got you to watch Stone Cold and Kurt Angle while I went to the gym, and I came home and watched it myself after. I've actually went back and watched a lot of these SummerSlam matches to put this list together. There was a match you were really fascinated with, matches that a lot of people wouldn't expect to be on that list, but I'll spoil it and you guys can figure out where I placed it on the list in the top 40. But you really enjoyed the Hart Foundation matches. Am I not wrong?
No, those are really good. And I think like when you talk about professional wrestling, like how can you not talk about the Harts, right? And like I forgot who they wrestled. It was that
the first one we watched was against Demolition, and that was a 2 out of 3 falls match. And then the second one I made us watch was the one against the Brainbusters, which was
the Brainbusters match.
Tully Blanchard.
yeah, that match really like blew my mind away because I've never seen it. And I never like grew up in that time. But like going back and like understanding why they did that, and it was really fascinating. And I think that match was like one of the greatest of all time.
Like, it was a really good tag match, and the reason I made the list because I'm like, when you watch this match, like, if you are someone that appreciates tag team wrestling and the psychology of tag team wrestling, and you want to see how tag team wrestling is supposed to be performed, go watch the Hart Foundation versus Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard at SummerSlam 1989. And something was really apropos about it with the fact that Tony Schiavone was on commentary. Because, Arn Anderson and Tully are very, Four Horsemen, Jim Crockett Promotions, like that's their vibe. And then you had Jim Crockett Promotion and someone that we're more familiar with when it comes to JCP and WCW was Tony Schiavone on commentary. And it just felt really fitting. And then obviously you have Bret Hart, you have Jim the Anvil Neidhart, you have Bobby Heenan on ringside. You had Tony Schiavone on commentary with Jesse Ventura, which was giving me major like early 90s WCW feels anyways. So check it out, guys. Check out that match and be on the lookout for my list on 1:37 p.m. All my links, all the important links to subscribe to the podcast, check out the Patreon, save money on Rain City toys, action figures and stuff if you sign up to the Patreon. All those links, my articles, everything is in my YouTube, on my Instagram bio. My YouTube link's in there too if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out these casual conversations in video form. And maybe I'll start releasing some clips from these shows on YouTube as well. I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, I think that's about it about all the plugging stuff. Obviously, Daniel might be coming back with some more episodes of the Dropkick Podcast, we hope.
I hope so. I don't know what's up, but with Christian winning the Impact title, I hope to work something out, putting it out in their universe right now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I appreciate everybody supporting. If you haven't, go check out the Dropkick Podcast on YouTube and on Instagram at Dropkick Pod. if you can hit that follow button, really appreciate it. I'm just trying to grow my account right now, but we'll see what happens as time goes on, I guess, right?
While we're talking about random stuff as well, huge congratulations to Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, who announced they are having a baby and that Candice is pregnant. Big shout out to them. Great blessing. Very happy for them. That's super dope. Johnny's a really cool dude. I never really talked to Candice before, but Johnny's a cool fucking dude. So I'm happy for both of them. Yeah, that's just a little side note. I had the weirdest mood this week. I don't know what happened, but I woke up yesterday, Friday morning, and I made that post about Carmella and that ring gear she wore for the 2018 SummerSlam, that Barbie looking pink and black ring gear. And I only obviously it came to mind because I was writing that list about top 40 SummerSlam matches, and I was really, really struggling trying to find good women's wrestling from SummerSlam. It almost feels like prior to the 2016, women's matches on SummerSlam were either those really quick 3 to 4 minute matches, or they were bra and panty matches or pillow fights or dodgeball things, or they just women's wrestling wasn't taken as seriously as it was 2016 forward.
Yeah.
So I had a really tough time trying to narrow it down. Obviously, for the old school historians out there, Alundra Blaze fought Bull Nakano at SummerSlam 1994 in a match that was ahead of its time, and it was pretty good and stuff. It didn't make my list, unfortunately. Don't be mad at me, but for the time, it was ahead of its time, and that was when WWF first tried to venture into the women's championship back in '94. I'm not gonna say the first time, for the second time they tried to do that, and then I had to narrow it down from the matches I actually enjoyed from SummerSlam, because the whole point of this list is top 40 SummerSlam matches according to the Wrestling Classics. So what matches did I enjoy? And there's been a handful since women's wrestling started getting taken more seriously, since the Revolution. There was Charlotte and Sasha Banks, which was a match I really enjoyed, but there were just things about it that didn't really sit well with me. And it's not just Sasha losing; it was the fact that there was just some spots and stuff, and then it looked like Sasha really got hurt. And it was a really good match, but is it top 40? I don't know. Maybe it's top 50, but not top 40 for me. There's some other bangers out there. There was I forgot how much of a banger Natalya and Becky Lynch had in their submission match. I ended up being a really good match. Obviously, I know you want to laugh there for a second. Obviously,
shut the fuck up.
Obviously, Naomi and Natalya had a decent match as well, but all the matches on the top of my obviously there's significance for Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair.
That was really good.
Trish's retirement match, and she passed the torch. I think the significance of it though stands more than the actual match itself, personally. So that didn't really make the list, but one thing might have been top 50 for sure. If I went to top 50, that match would have been in there for sure, because I think that it holds a lot of significance. I mean, my number 40 is Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan, so that tells you that. But the two matches I went for with the women's one is the Sasha one. So now you can pick and choose if it's the one with the Alexa or if it's the one with Asuka or whatever. You guys can hold your anticipation for that. But one of the matches on the list was definitely Charlotte versus Becky versus Carmella in 2018. And that's where she was rocking that gear, and it reminded me of that gear, and I made a post about it. And then I realized, I think, I don't collect action figures. I know I have a partnership with Rain City Toys, and he has all the action figures in the world. And he's hooked me up with a few Macho Man figures, and he hooked me with a Sasha figure because he knows I'm a Sasha mark. But I just felt like I should definitely have a Carmella figure. And they just so happen to be dropping a Carmella figure with that gear on it. So pretty excited. No,
I think
it was meant to be. And I'm like, you got to support those who support you. And she genuinely has always been
she's a good human being,
unnecessarily nice to me. She doesn't need to be, but she always has been. So I want to show
I think 100%. I think Mella's she has, from her days in NXT to now, she clearly has evolved, as a wrestler and as a person. And I think if you look at the first SmackDown draft 2016, when they first did it, she was really green, right, compared to the other girls. I know Becky was starting off there. Natty was sort of a vet at the point, and she was just kind of starting off. So I think her learning and getting better every single week, year, month, whatever it is, it's cool to see, people like her just evolve and keep doing what they do best, right? And that's put on a show. And I hope she wins the belt, man. She came out last night, and I was pretty excited because I was like, I didn't expect Mella to come out, and it was cool. But yeah,
let's work ourselves backwards because I feel like SmackDown and Rampage are the most fresh things in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about SmackDown, and let's talk about what you just talked about. I'm rocking a Sasha Banks shirt for those of you on the Patreon that's watching this. My boy Daniel's rocking a Wrestling Classic shirt, which you guys can get from TWCShop.com if you want to support our family and our brand. Get a Wrestling Classic shirt, but
that shirt just makes me look 10 times better. I don't know why. It's weird.
Comfy too, right?
It's hella comfy. I love it.
Let's talk about last night because I think SmackDown last night.
Yeah.
Like, if they need to sell us on SummerSlam, SmackDown sold me on SummerSlam last night.
Mm-hmm.
But what it also made me realize is realistically, SmackDown's fucking owning SummerSlam.
Bro, SmackDown is stacked. Like stacked.
Raw so far, what do we have from Raw? So we have Lashley and Goldberg, which I can't sit here and say I really care about that. I wish Lashley had a better opponent. At this point, I wish Finn went to Raw and it was Finn versus Lashley or something.
Lashley, yeah. They have history too, so.
So that's kind of like, okay, whatever. And then you have Jinder versus Drew McIntyre. I'm a fan of both guys. Obviously, Jinder's a homie and shit. I hope that match goes well, but I can't really say I'm fully invested in the storyline. I'm someone that actually wanted this storyline. I thought the whole 3MB thing, the stories being similar, coming back after getting released and winning the world title, like there's a lot of parallels to grab from there. Instead, it's been Drew trying to attack them with a sword.
It's really weird, and I feel like they could have booked it better, but like, I don't think we've seen these guys wrestle each other like.
And then I think the inevitable one is RKBro versus AJ and Omos for the tag titles, which that's probably the match on Raw that I kind of fuck with because like obviously Randy Orton's the man, and I think what he's doing with Matt.
You forgot about Nikki Ash, Charlotte, and Rhea Ripley, I think.
Rhea Ripley, yeah. Okay, let's talk about Raw really quickly then, because we're talking about their matches at SummerSlam, because there's not much I really want to say about it. What I noticed about Raw is that their roster is really stacked too this week. That first hour of the show, so many things were happening. It was like Morrison versus this guy, and Damian Priest versus that guy, and we had The Miz there, and we have Lashley, and we have Drew McIntyre, we have Jinder, and I'm like, yo, we have all that. We had Karrion Kross versus Jeff Hardy, and Karrion Kross is now 2-1 against Jeff Hardy, and like we have Keith Lee. I'm like, yo, they have a plethora of talent, but whoever's writing this show or booking it isn't using everyone to the best of their abilities and quality. Like, it just, the quality isn't there. No, the quality's there. My bad. They have the quality and talent, but the content's just like
content's lacking a little
digestible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to digest. It's just not good. And I was like, it really sucks because there's a lot of good people on Raw too. Because it started off on a high when Randy Orton came back. Like, I remember being just so excited that Randy Orton was back. He was only gone for like 7 weeks, but it felt like he was gone for like 4 or 5 months. I was like, oh my God, Randall's back. Like,
no, seeing Randy Orton back really got me excited because like I feel like absence makes the heart go fonder, and I don't know why, but I got more excited for Randy's return than John Cena's, and I was just like,
same here. And I said that, and everybody came at me like I was some evil human being. But...
No, but the thing is, Randy Orton always has been cool. Like, it's just like, I don't know. There's just a different vibe to Randy. It's just like, yo, that guy.
I have more respect for Randy Orton than I do John Cena. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
Live on the TWC show.
Oh,
but no, I was hyped when Randy came out. I do enjoy the stuff with him and Riddle. A lot of people are like, yo, why do you RKO him at the end? It's that friendly. No, I'm down with you, but fuck you at the same time. Like, he did that, and like Randy smiled after, and I felt like if you look, Riddle kind of looked like he was smiling on the mat, like they know. And off the air, there was obviously that hug with John Cena, which threw everybody off. I'm like, no, you guys don't get it. Like, Randy doesn't hate. He didn't turn on Riddle.
He's
just being Randy Orton.
It's like that thing where it's like the older brother would like beat up the younger brother, and then like he doesn't really hate him, but it's just like that sibling thing, right? It's like that. Yeah. Don't forget
to like don't fuck this up,
Don't fuck this up kind of thing. Yeah. But like I was with it. I'm really invested into the whole RKBro thing, and I think like after this whole thing, I really hope AJ Styles goes back to like a singles run, because like the whole thing with Omos has been cool and all, but like, yo, We need another Sal's WWE.
I just remember the crew on Clubhouse popping when AJ Styles was like, "That's cap." But for some reason, it didn't feel weird that AJ Styles said that. I don't know if it's because he's from the South or just because we know like he has kids that are probably in high school right now and he's on that whole video game community. But it's just the fact that he was like, "Nah, that's cap." AJ Styles is the man. But,
that was dope. AJ's the man.
That was raw, you know what I mean? Like MVP cut a great promo. Bobby Lashley MVP on the situation with Goldberg. Charlotte came out there and made the Nikki Cross and Nikki Ash, my bad, and Rhea Ripley match end in a no contest. But like Charlotte looked great. She looked amazing. Her outfit was dope. Like she came out there and she owned the ring. And that's the thing. What's the problem with Charlotte is her presence on that show. Yeah. She shines bigger than any of the other women on that roster, and that's an issue because they're trying to build new stars. But like Charlotte seems like the only star, to be honest. I apologize to Nikki, I apologize to Rhea, but Charlotte feels like the biggest star.
I think that too, but it's just like I was on Twitter during Raw, obviously, just trying to like figure out what's going on, what's not. But like they were like booing Nikki Ash, and then on TV, like you can hear people cheering for Nikki Ash, so they're clearly piping in chants. But it's just like I don't know. I feel like she's gonna drop the belt to Charlotte. And like we'll see what happens, but like this whole feud, it's just kind of been put together last minute. Like it just feels rushed. I don't know.
Well, Lily started winking the doll. I don't know what's going on. Dewdrop faced Alexa Bliss. It was great to see Bliss back in the ring. I don't know if this is leading to Bliss versus Eva at SummerSlam or something, but regardless of the fact, like, is it the greatest shit going on in the show? Absolutely not. But is it something? Yeah, and I've been enjoying it for what it is, to say the least.
Raw was okay. It wasn't like the worst, but I feel like here's the thing, man. Like, again, like I can talk about this every week on your show, and like it's not going to change the fact that like you need Scarlett there for Karrion. It's like it just doesn't make sense. Like Scarlett and Karrion are the full package together, right? Like you need the other one without the other, and it's just like.
I agree with you. I feel like he feels a little bit naked, and his promos seem a little bit more cheesier without her around.
That too, and they feel like they're too scripted. It feels like the teleprompter is right in front of him, the camera's right there, and then they're just like, "Okay, Carrie, just go through this real quick."
If he was cutting his promos, even the ones that he is cutting that sound kind of cheesy, but Scarlett was standing there, they somehow automatically become better.
Sure, yeah, I think.
And I don't know why, because he's saying the stuff. He's saying all fall and pray and this. Now he's saying all this stuff, but. I almost feel like when Scarlett's saying it and he's standing there looking menacing, it just comes off better.
I think it's just her presence, man. I feel like and NXT was like very like I don't know if this is gonna like be funny to you or whatever, but like the way NXT was like built in a sense, like the lighting was very dark in the arena or in Full Sail, right? So like when he comes out to Raw, it's all like lights and glimmer, flash, like it's very like not Karrion almost, and I feel like in a way they kind of brought him up way too early. He wanted to come
up. He wanted to go to the main roster.
I don't understand why.
I don't know where it's going with it. I don't know what they're going with either. But other than that, I don't know. Hopefully Scarlett shows up in the next few weeks.
I hope, and I don't know why they're booking Jeff versus Karrion. What's it doing to either person? Like who's gaining who?
Jeff Hardy.
Okay, that hurts, but like
former WWE and world champion.
But what's he gaining from it? It just feels like he's just like I don't know.
1,000 threats I've heard before.
Lies are meant to be.
Wow, those are words instead. The writing's on the wall. Sheamus, Ricochet, Damian Priest. And there was one other person involved in this situation. I think it was Morrison. I think they might be having a fatal four-way for the U.S. title.
No, they already booked the match.
What is it? Is it just Damian versus Sheamus?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because that's what I wanted.
That's what you wanted? I wanted Morrison in there, bro.
I thought the idea of a fatal four-way would be cool. Listen, if this is an old school SummerSlam, I think you could have like a Ricochet Morrison match on the card and have it be like the opener and be a quick match.
Okay, that's true. But like
a good 5-6 minute match between those two.
Mm.
And then still have Sheamus and Priest on there.
Yes.
I don't know if Shinsuke beat Apollo for the United States title, which was an epic and dope moment from SmackDown this week.
United States title?
Huh?
United
States title, I said.
No, you said United States.
No, I said the Continental.
You said United.
No. I said Intercontinental.
He's drunk.
No, I said Intercontinental. But it was a hype moment. But I don't know if Shinsuke's going to defend it next week already against Apollo at Summerslam. And if he does, I feel like it might be a kickoff situation because they just had the match on SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't.
Unfortunately.
I don't know, but I feel like Shinsuke is like on a roll. At least he's not like doing in catering. You know, he's a champion right now, so it's cool to see that. But SmackDown,
yeah, you know, when they separated him and Cesaro, and it seemed like they were gonna push them separately and do their own things. Like I thought Shinsuke was kind of being left behind in the dust because Cesaro started feuding with Seth and doing the stuff for the against Roman. I was like, fuck, I really want Shinsuke. There was part of me that wanted to see Shinsuke versus Roman at SummerSlam. That was one of the things I thought they could go towards. But I'm glad he's an Intercontinental champion. I'm glad they didn't just. Where's Cesaro?
That's a good question. Where is he?
Finn wasn't on SmackDown this week either.
But like, yo, that's a good thing. Why would you have the same guys on SmackDown? Because if you
have nothing to do for them, don't put them on the show. That's my big. I said that about Sasha. Remember, we had the whole conversation with Sasha once. I'm like, they don't have anything creative for her. Yeah. Not be on the show.
No, because I remember she was like the champion like a couple months ago, and I was like, she hasn't been on the show in like 2 weeks. Like that's really weird, you know. But like, I understand.
Nothing creative for her, then don't put her on the show just to be on. Unless you want to give her like a squash match or something. Otherwise, don't do it.
Yeah, no.
Like Sammy wasn't on the show this week. Cesaro wasn't on the show this week. Finn Balor wasn't on the show this week. We barely got Kevin Owens on the show, but they did the Baron Corbin angle, which led to Baron Corbin stealing the Money in the Bank briefcase from Big E. Which everything Baron Corbin. He showed up on Raw, fought Drew McIntyre. Like everything Corbin's been doing. For years, I found Baron Corbin to be a very boring character. I never thought he was bad in the ring. I thought, like, you know, honestly, I liked his moveset, the Deep Six, and all the stuff he did, but I found him to be a boring character. Yeah. This was the best character I've seen Baron Corbin be since right before he came to the main roster because I love
the Lone Wolf. The Lone Wolf.
He did a thing right before he got called up where he was beating up all the indie guys that came in.
Yeah, I remember that. He literally whooped Austin Aries' ass, and I was just like, "This is great. This is good television." But that was good.
Character work, everything is doing is this broke Baron Corbin, and like his promos he's cutting on the internet for like the exclusive clips and stuff, like just fucking hilarious.
Down bad, but yeah, it was pretty sick. SmackDown, like, it's just always a good vibe because it's a Friday, and like, you know,
do we get Big E versus Baron Corbin over the briefcase?
I don't want to see like
because technically it feels like they gave Big E the briefcase, but for the time being he's kind of directionless. He's doing the whole teasing I could cash in on Roman, but like it's kind of just like, okay, we gave him the briefcase. We'll wait and see what we do with him after SummerSlam, after Cena's gone, yada yada yada. That's what it kind of feels like, you know.
I know, but
so this is a cool creative way to use him, I guess.
I think it was cool. I think, you know, them starting the show off hot with Cena and Roman was pretty cool, but like
let's talk about that then, because I was gonna wait to get there. I just want to talk about the wrestlers first, but now that we're on it, who won the promo battle?
I don't want to say anybody won it. Like I think Roman stood his ground this time because I know you talked about this last time in Clubhouse. You were just like, Roman kind of doesn't care. Like he knows he's gonna whoop Cena's ass at SummerSlam, you know, retain the title, but like he's not bothered by him at all. Like he's not in his head rent free or anything this time around. And I know Heyman's there, but like this time around, the way that Cena like dissed him in a promo, like he kind of elevated him at the same time. He was like, I know you're gonna whoop my ass, but all I need is that 1, 2, 3. But then in 2017, he was just like, you suck. You can't even, you know, do this and that. But like I think like, you know, that promo was very like Paul Heyman-esque because like the way Heyman cuts promos, he kind of like elevates like his opponent, and then he just goes in for the kill. You know what I mean? So it's very
Heyman's really good at that because it's the old style of cutting a promo.
Yeah,
it's not really fully tear your opponent down. So because you want people to make it seem like it could go either way. So the way that Cena kept saying like, no, I know you're gonna beat my ass. I know it's gonna be spear, punch from another DC character, punch from another DC superhero, like trying to put himself over because now he's a DC superhero. But and even Roman, like it's not even Cena. Even like Cena was putting Roman like, I know you're gonna kick my ass. I know you're gonna kick my ass. Like, I'm gonna get my ass beat. I'm not saying you're not gonna smash me. You're going to smash me. But all I need is all I need is a 1, 2, 3. Like that's what Cena was saying. So in a way, he's saying like, listen, I know you're gonna kick my ass, but all I need is to pin you 1, 2, 3, and I'm the 17-time world champion, and you're gonna be a footnote of who did John Cena beat for the 17th world title. Good fucking shit on John Cena. The best shit John Cena has done since he's been back in my mind. Personally. But that being said, Roman was putting Cena over too lightly as well. How many movies do you have out right now? Like, we can't even promote all the movies you have out right now on SmackDown. Like, yada yada yada. Like, what are you doing here? Like, go back to Hollywood. I'll send you back there. Like, low key putting over Cena as an actor and the fact that he has a bunch of movies now. Like, they were complimenting each other while still coming in with the disses, like the Nikki Bella diss and the fact that you've never won the Universal title, and like, you're just, I don't even want to do this. Like, you're just saying the same shit. Like, that was the first thing Roman came out there. Like, it's the same thing. You're just doing the same thing. Is there anything new? Like, give me something new. And then Cena's like, I'm gonna give you something new. And what Cena gave us was the 1, 2, 3 thing, and the whole referencing the maybe I'll be like CM Punk and I'll take that title on, jump over the barricade, and maybe even blow you a kiss. And like,
I didn't pop for that, if I'm being honest.
I didn't really pop for it, but I like that he referenced it because as much as it's a Punk thing, it's part of Cena's history. If anyone's gonna reference it, it's either gonna be Vince McMahon or John Cena, and obviously Vince ain't doing it. So
okay, well, I just feel like Cena's trying to be that cool guy at school, No,
and it did. It popped the marks on the internet that really love John Cena. Like, look, he referenced CM Punk. He's a cool
okay,
guy.
like, whatever. But
go on.
No, I was just gonna say what really like got me to be like, oh shit, he really said that was the Dean Ambrose thing, and I understand it because WWE owns the trademark to Dean Ambrose, the character, and all that, right?
And he is a part of the history too. He's a part of Roman history.
100%.
The way Punk reference, the way Cena referenced Punk, because Punk is, because listen, I don't want to go down history right now, but we're gonna a little bit. In my mind, this is my opinion, solely my opinion. When Super Cena took off in 2006. He was on a reign of tear where he was beating everybody, and he was beating Umaga, and he was beating Edge, and he was beating Randy Orton, and I do think that Edge and Randy Orton and even Batista stopped him a couple, like beat him at SummerSlam and stuff. Like I believe those are some of John and Triple H himself. Like those are all some of John Cena's greatest rivals.
Sure, but
I don't think anyone ever really got a one up on John Cena until CM Punk.
Let me think about that.
Because in 2011, no matter how cool Edge was, how cool Randy Orton was, how cool Batista was, how cool Triple H was, when they feuded Cena, it wasn't until Punk where fans were kind of like, well, I kind of like this guy more than this guy right now.
Not even that. I kind of disagree. I feel like The Miz was.
No, because The Miz was a heel.
But The Miz beat
John Cena as a top babyface, as someone the fans were really behind.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
Because always Cena. Like people liked Orton, people liked Edge, people liked Triple H as a babyface, or they were on separate shows doing their things. Like Batista's over there, Jeff Hardy's over there. It wasn't until CM Punk where I think Cena was like, "Oh, there could be someone else that can sell as much merch as me, can be the top babyface like me, and I could lose to him, and the fans will actually be happy about it." Even Cena fans were kind of happy that CM Punk beat John.
I'm really trying to find an argument here. Like, I really want to go against it because, like, I don't like to agree on things on this show. But you're right. Because I
think that's why it's a big part of Cena's history. Because not that, like, Edge is a big part of Cena's history. Because that was, like, his first major. Like, that feud was epic and shit in its own way. And then Randy Orton and Cena will always be linked together because they were, like, those were the two at some point, and then Batista and Cena will be always linked together because those were the two in 2005 that they ran with, and they both fucking owned it and shit. And Cena will have his link to Triple H and Shawn Michaels and certain legends and stuff. But the same way Randy Orton has his link, we'll always have a link to the Undertaker and certain legend stuff. There's certain legends that help these younger guys out, and Undertaker helped Batista's and the Ortons and stuff like that, and so did Triple H. Triple H helped everybody, but. CM Punk was the first time I feel like where the Cena tide kind of didn't just like there wasn't just a sea of John Cena shirts in the crowd. There was John Cena shirts and Best in the World shirts.
That's true. That's actually so true. I didn't even thought of it like that. And I feel like once
and after CM Punk, what happened? Cena actually started putting guys over like Daniel Bryan, like Kevin Owens, like
indie guys. Yeah,
the tide changed with CM Punk.
And that goes to the whole thing, right? Like CM Punk really wanted to change WWE and the wrestling world as a whole as a revolution, and he did that, And I feel like,
and it didn't happen while CM Punk was there; it happened after. But because CM Punk, they realized, we had Punk be the second top babyface up there with John Cena, and it kind of worked. It doesn't need to just be John Cena anymore.
Well, it was like Batman and Superman, if you look at it, right?
Yeah.
Punk was the Batman, and Cena was Superman, right? So it just kind of it goes back to the whole thing where in the 90s where like Warrior and Hogan and you had two baby faces. It worked. And I was gonna say Savage.
That's a great example too, because Hulkamania ran wild. He worked with so many great legends, Savage and Andre, and there's more that I can't think of off the top of my head. But he worked with so many big names. But it wasn't until Warrior where you kind of were like, oh, the tide could change here.
Same thing with I would say Brett and Austin. You know what I mean? And
we loved Brett all the way from 92 all the way up until 96. But then when Austin came, you're like, oh, I kind of like this Austin.
I kind of like Austin because it's I want to whoop my boss's ass too. I want to stutter.
And his attitude was different than Brett. Brett was a super white meat babyface, and we loved Brett. But this Austin guy is kind of cool too, and that's why I think what Punk is. And I know they can't reference to that a lot because he doesn't work there and he walked out and he quit and all that. But I think whoever the writing team might be, or maybe Heyman helped with that promo. But I genuinely think that Cena realizes that. He realizes Punk's when the tide changed for him. Because I remember back in the day, Cena would always do these interviews and he'd be like, well, until someone can step up and take my place, I'm going to be the guy. And I haven't seen anyone that can do it yet. Nobody's actually really until someone can take that from me, I don't see anyone that can do it yet. Yeah. Punk was someone that almost took that shit from him.
It kind of bothers me that I understand why Punk left. He was not in a good mental state at the time to keep working, and he had a bunch of injuries and all that. But I feel if CM Punk didn't leave, there would be no NXT as we know it, because I feel it made Triple H realize that indie guys do matter in professional wrestling. Guys like Balor, Owen, Zayn, all these Ring of Honor guys. I feel WWE really had no plans for the Shield, really, if you think about it. If you go back and listen to the Colt Cabana podcast, Vince didn't really believe in the Shield, right? And then when Punk stepped up to, Vince being why should I go over the Shield? Shouldn't the Shield beat me? You know what I mean? It was just one of those things, and I feel
and we talked about the way they use Punk ended up. I told you about that funny ass tweet Punk put out back in the day.
Yeah,
I love that I got to put over all those young stars before I got to leave. Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, Triple H.
Yeah, he didn't win one.
The Rock. I got to put over The Rock, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, The Undertaker, all before I left. Man, great. I really prepped the future.
No, but I feel Punk leaving really just startled the wrestling world as a whole, and it made Triple H and Vince realize yo, if we don't start,
and the tide changed, and that we've had that conversation before. The stuff he said about there needs to be a change actually happened, because we saw a plethora of independent talent starting to get signed. And I don't want to give all the credit to Punk. I always say those two guys that popped off in that 2011 to 2014 span that really pushed into maybe we should get some of these indie guys in here that have been on the independent circuit for Adam Cole and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and all these guys that were in the independents because of two guys, and that was CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
100%.
Indie darlings that came to that company with indie darling hype that they didn't have faith in at the beginning. Punk, they literally tried and they kept thinking, even when he won the world title, it's still does the title make the man or the man make the title? Because he doesn't seem any more special with the belt. Even though he was getting cheered louder than the fucking Hardy Boys and DX at Survivor Series, even though the fans loved him, it was still I don't know if he has what it takes. And then with Bryan, the dude got fired for choking Justin Roberts with a tie. They brought him back. He still had so much hype, but he still didn't reach that pinnacle until even winning the world title for him didn't feel as special as him winning that first WWE championship against John Cena.
No, 100%.
Important. Punk won multiple world titles, but it didn't really feel special till Money in the Bank. And you're Punk's the guy.
Punk's the fucking guy.
That's John Cena, because beating John Cena means something for sure. But it was Punk and Bryan that opened those floodgates, and now we're in this weird period where we saw a bunch of wrestlers get released, and now there's rumors going around that Vince kind of wants to go back to younger guys that under the age of 30 and bigger guys, and it's no, because this whole indie experiment that Triple H has been doing for these past, I want to say almost 10 years now, almost, I think it's more 6 or 7 years, but
something like that.
It's been working. It's given us some of the best content we've ever had on NXT over the past 6-7 years,
Yeah, no, I agree. But that promo going back to it was really good. That Dean Ambrose line really popped me. And I just want to say, I feel it was a good promo, but I feel a lot of the guys in the back cut a good promo, but it's just because that's John Cena. He can get away with that. I
Yeah, he
understand
can
it.
say things that he won't get reprimanded for, and to be honest, he's gonna leave and go back to Hollywood anyway. So like, it's almost like what Roman said about himself, because Roman is at a point now where he's allowed to be less scripted and kind of go out there and say his own thing. He's allowed to, and the reason why I thought this promo was so good is I'm like, compared to 2017 when they did this, Roman's actually allowed to be Roman Reigns right now. He's not trying to be a babyface. He's being Roman Reigns, so he can sit there and smile and be like, "This is stupid. I don't even want to respond to it," because that's probably how Roman Reigns would say it in real life.
In real life, yeah.
Okay, but back then he was like intended to respond and probably trying to remember a script in his mind, which we've seen Roman trying to remember scripts. He's not good at that.
And like, I wouldn't like. Let's hypothetically imagine you're Roman Reigns trying to remember like a 2-page script. You probably can't, because you have to make sure you got to look at the camera over there, the hard cam, and then not
everyone's gonna be good at that. Not everyone's gonna be good at remembering a script. It's like, I know it's a broad comparison, but it's like how Macho liked to write down his matches move by move and remember every part of the match on a yellow notepad, legal pad. And when he worked with certain talent, he'd want them to be the same way. Like, this is what we're doing. This is spot 1, spot 2, spot 3, spot 4. But most wrestlers didn't work that way, and they couldn't work that way. They like to call it in the ring. Some wrestlers can go out there and remember your script and cut that promo that way. And some wrestlers just need that freedom to call it in the ring and feel out the crowd to cut a promo. Roman wasn't a script guy in my mind. He just wasn't. And he went on an interview this past week and he was like, listen, I don't actually have to go by a script anymore. They're trusting me. I don't know why they edited out my missionary line, but let me tell you this. What are they going to do? Not have me on TV next week? He's come to that place on the card where that's true. What are they going to do? Suspend him?
What are they going to do, right? Yeah.
They need Roman Reigns. And the same way, what are you going to do with John Cena? You're going to fire John Cena? He's going to leave anyway, so what are you going to do? They're both in that position, and that's what made this promo a little bit more authentic. But also, it makes it, for the Cena fans, it makes it less cool than the 2017 ones, because Cena could not make Roman look like an idiot, because you can't make a guy that has the freedom to say whatever you want look like an idiot now.
No.
Back then, he made him look like an idiot. Oh, you don't remember your lines, kid? Like, Roman doesn't need to remember lines now.
No. But it was cool. I love the opening segment, and what else?
They got me excited for the match, and I was not excited for the match prior to this. I'll give them
same.
That's the one thing I'll say for sure. They got me. I still don't think it's a match that should be happening at SummerSlam. I still don't think that's a match that Cena should be in. I still think it should be a younger guy or a younger or more relevant current guy that's going to be here after SummerSlam facing Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. All of that doesn't sit well with me, but to get me excited for the match, they did a good job.
No,
I want Roman to win. I think Roman's going to win. There's nothing about me that feels that John Cena's going to win, but I know watching the match, I'm going to be scared because anything is possible.
I kind of want Cena to win, and then it's in this weird way, and they reverse the decision, and then Roman wins. No, cool that'd be just to pop the crowd.
100%, like some sort of controversial finish.
Yeah. But I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm excited. SummerSlam's in a week.
The match that might steal the show, also coming from SmackDown, Edge versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, that should be good.
Seth, drip, suits, King Troy, shout out to King Troy, his stylist. I want all of Seth's suits. First, I thought they were a little much, but then the more I see them, the more I'm like, I want every single suit. I want to wear every single suit. I want to go to any future wedding I want to go to. I want to dress in the suits that Seth Rollins wears, and not give a fuck. But and that's one of the things. And me being me, I'm not a very flashy, colorful guy. The most flashy shit I have is usually my chalkline jackets, and I do like wearing them because that's when I can be flashy and shit. But I thought about it in my brain. I'm like, most of the wrestlers I loved growing up were the ones that were so flashy and colorful and made an effort with their gear. The Macho Man, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, and then look at the women's wrestlers I like today. It's the ones that go above and beyond with their gear and stuff. Carmella, Sasha Banks. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, I think I appreciate Seth's suits now because it makes them stand out.
Gear makes such a big difference, man.
It really does.
It just has that aesthetic vibe of things, and
I like things when they change, and Seth's promo is dope. The whole Edge light thing you referenced in and showed the video package, which oddly enough, I know the video package to show how he's done things that Edge has done, but he did it way better. Edge cashed in, but then Seth did it at WrestleMania. And then it was such a good well put together video package, but it also really did show that there is a lot of parallels between the two of them.
No, 100%. Even before this match, bro, I remember me and my buddies, this goes back to years, 2015. When Seth was the man, he had both belts, the United States and the WWE title, me and my friends would be like, yo, he reminds me of Edge a little bit. I don't know why.
I think, to your point and your friend's point, I think we always wanted Seth versus Edge because they did remind us of them.
No, exactly. And then when they did that angle with like Seth possibly stomping on Edge's neck, like I was like, if Edge comes out of retirement, this is the match. Like it has to be. And I'm glad that Edge gets to have this opportunity.
Yeah, I genuinely think subconsciously. Yeah. And they've had face-offs backstage and stuff where they like subconsciously we've always felt like they were similar in a weird way.
Yeah.
That we like even when Seth held the Money in the Bank and he was a slimy little douchebag. What was Edge when Edge held the Money in the Bank and had his Lita with him who fucking cheated on Matt Hardy to be with him? Yeah. We thought of Edge as a slimy douchebag. There's so many similarities and like Edge started in a 3-man faction when he entered the business. Seth Rollins led the Shield.
No, bro, I remember, but like the whole thing was really cool. Like I just feel like they both bring this like heel dick vibe when they're bad guys, and it's great. I love it. I hated Edge as a kid. I remember because he would literally beat all my favorites, and it sucked. But
if I was a kid in 2015, I probably would have hated Seth Rollins.
I love Seth though.
I did because I was older. But if I was a kid in 2015, I probably would have hated Seth Rollins. This way that we hated Edge. You know what I mean? Is what I'm trying to say. So you know. 2015 Edge. 2015 Seth is goated though. Let's not get it wrong.
Oh, 110
fucking Seth Rollins, but
different vibe vibe altogether.
2014 to 2015 when before he hurt his knee, like that run.
And like I remember talking about this with like literally I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and I was like, Seth Rollins, like, he kind of slowed down, and that's pretty understandable. Like in the world of professional wrestling, you need to slow down and take care of your body, and like, but like 2000 from when he was in the Shield to 2016, like that Seth Rollins was different. Like he was just so fast paced, but like sometimes changing your style leads to like longevity of the business, like Randy Orton, AJ Styles. But I don't know. Seth Rollins is the man, and I'm excited for the match. But I hope this isn't Edge's last match. I feel like it might be a WrestleMania next year. But
yeah, I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. But I do think he's going to be wrestling like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, maybe in the Rumble, like not the major pay-per-views, maybe a one-off or something, and like the minor ones like the Money in the Bank and stuff. But I think he's here for a bit. And once again, I don't mind Seth.
No.
When he's out of the title picture. I mean, I don't mind Edge when he's out of the title picture.
Oh, yeah.
When he's in the title picture, it's annoying. No, he's out of the title picture and he's having feuds with guys like Seth Rollins, like a Kevin Owens, whoever. Like if you feud Sami Zayn or something, AJ Styles, like I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Don't need him in the title picture.
No, I feel like guys like Roman need the title right now, and like Balor even or whatever.
Like if Seth beats Edge and then Edge disappears to like Rumble time and somehow it leads to like Edge versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania next year, I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That would be sick though. I can imagine it because like the tease that like 2020's Rumble with like
I'm not mad. Lastly, the last thing we should talk about when it comes to SmackDown, then we'll talk about Rampage debut and Dynamite and everything really quickly before we wrap this up. But my girl, Salsa Banks. Yes, it's Salsa. She hates me. I'm rocking her tea. I don't know why she hates me. Love girl. Sasha Banks came out there looking like a baddie biker chick. Her leather gear and her gloves. Love her outfits ever since her hair dyed blue and she came back with the blue wig and everything. Like different vibe with the outfit selections. I don't know if she's with this because I know King Troy does Charlotte and Seth Rollins and stuff, but Sasha baddie came out there, did the contract signing with Bianca. Shout out to Bianca. She makes all of her own gear and everything she wears most of the time.
Yeah.
Had a great back and forth promo. Obviously, contract signings always end in controversy. I was hoping Sasha brought out her stamp that she always signs her contracts with, but she did not, unfortunately, this time around. Good shit. I'm hyped for this match. I'm still on I think Sasha Banks wins it back at SummerSlam. I still believe that. There is a small part of me that thinks that Bianca is just going to go over again, and I really don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
I do want Bianca to win the belt back from Sasha. Even if Sasha has another month reign or 2-month reign, I'm okay with it. But I think this needs to be a situation where they are tied and there's a rubber match, and I think Sasha needs to win at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stick by that. Other than that, I think it's going to be a banger. I thought this contract signing was entertaining. Sasha is the best when she embraces being an annoying, arrogant, cocky bitch, and that's exactly what she is. As this character is an annoying, arrogant, cocky bitch that you could even tell that like Bianca was like sitting there getting annoyed of her. Like this chick thinks she's top shit. Like, you know, like get out of here. Bianca's about to go hit on her ass. And that's the thing too, like, because Sasha, and I've said this a million times, as much as she's supposed to be the boss from like fucking Boston and shit, like she sounds like a girl from California that grew up with a bunch of rich white girls, and she's the boss. You know what I mean? And to put a cherry on top of that, her little clique came out there to watch the contract signing, and I didn't expect Carmella and Zelina to come out there. And Zelina looked smoking, and Carmella though, I love Carmella. That's my girl. But glad they made an appearance. They came out there, and it made me wonder: is this a new stable? Are Carmella and Zelina gonna go after the tag titles? Because they kind of had matching outfits. Like Carmella had the pants and Zelina had the top. Like I don't know. Like, is it because I'm not against Zelina and Carmella trying to go out after the tag belts, and I hope they actually achieve it because we've seen Carmella team with Naomi, Billie Kay, a plethora of different people. But I'd be down to see this. Do people come help Bianca after SummerSlam? Do we get Bianca getting support from like Liv and Naomi, or maybe Shotzi and Nox? Like, does this become? Is this like a little click for Sasha? Does Sasha win the belt and then Mella and Zelina turn on her? Like, what's the alliance here? Just because they're heels? It was kind of interesting because, you know, Carmella and Sasha were just feuding at the beginning of this year, and now they're on the same page. Like, there's a lot of things that it left me wondering, but I enjoyed every second of it. And then obviously Sasha Banks got the last laugh, raising the title, standing above Bianca Belair, had her in the bank statement with her hair in her braid as a part of it. And I enjoyed the living shit out of it. What say you?
That was cool. I feel like this little new faction or clique, whatever, it's cool, man. It's cool. It gives Zelina and Mella to do something on TV, and it's important for them to be on TV because like they bring eyes to the product as a whole. And I will literally bat for Mella because she like genuinely, I really enjoy her work. And same with Zelina. I think ever since Zelina has been brought back to WWE, she's great. And after Bianca, I feel like, you know, they could do something with this trio, and you know they could do something. Maybe they can bring up, you know, Death Row or whatever.
I would be down with Sasha to have a little faction like this, though. And just imagine Sasha's the women's champion. Tamina's defending both belts by herself right now because Natty's hurt. Imagine somehow Zelina and Carmella get them a 2-on-1 match against Tamina, because there's nothing more heel than making Tamina defend her tag titles by herself against both Zelina and Carmella. And then you have the short, even if it's a short-term faction called the Shake-Up, but you have Sasha with the women's title and Zelina and Carmella with the tag titles. We haven't seen that in the women's division yet.
No, we haven't, and I feel like this is such a great opportunity. And I know for a fact Tyson Kidd's behind producing all of this cool stuff, and shout out to him. He's always killing it. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I loved how SmackDown went off the air with Sasha choking Bianca with the braid. But it was cool.
And I know we don't sit here, everyone go like, yo, all the guys looked amazing tonight, yada yada yada. But I'm just going on a limb here and say all the women looked amazing in the segment. They all looked smoking hot. Even Sonya looked really pretty. Satisfying way to end the show. That's all I'm saying. Satisfying way to end the show. And like, you know, two of them I consider like friends of mine. I'm down with Mella and Zelina. They both follow my page and are just both sweethearts. And they both reposted me in the stories after I put them in my story last night. And you know, Sasha hates me, but love you. You're my favorite. And Bianca's grown on me, man. Ever since she's been on the main roster, Bianca's grown on me. And
yeah,
I feel like Bianca's best work is always when Sasha's around. Sasha brings Bianca up. Like Bailey did, Carmella did, but there's something special about the Sasha versus Bianca feel. And I know Bianca's going out this time. She wants to defend the title against Becky Lynch and all of that, but Sasha's taking that belt back. She's bringing it home. I believe blue. Let's go Sasha, and I want this faction with Sasha, Carmella, and Zelina, even if it's for a very short period. I think it's a cool little situation. And this is a cool way that you could reintroduce Liv Morgan and Naomi, or you could use Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart in a different way to help Bianca, because like the babyface team against the cool WWE team. And if you really think about it, Zelina, Carmella, and Sasha, kind of like the old guard that's been on that main roster for a while, where Bianca, Shotzi, and Nox would be like a new little group of girls that kind of recently came from NXT. So it's cool. There's so many cooler dynamics to it. But talking about dynamics and Dynamite thing,
bro.
Let's talk about Dynamite. Because the women look Dynamite, and we're gonna talk about AEW Dynamite. Listen, fans being back has been great. Majority of the shows since fans have been back have been elevated because the fans are back. I'm not saying the show was necessarily bad, but it didn't feel like one of their best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
No, I think. Listen, man, not every Dynamite's gonna be
100%.
spectacular, but like I just feel like they were really building Dynamite to hype up Rampage, if that makes sense.
No, it
like,
does 100%.
And I feel like that was cool. That was good of them to do, like advertise your show and all that. But like, I enjoyed it. I know Hangman was on it because he had to like, he took the weekend or the week off or something. And congratulations to him and his wife. And it was, it was good. But other than that, it was not a bad show. It was decent. And yeah, man, I it got me hyped for Rampage.
Yeah, there was an opening match. It was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus who? Dante. And who were the other two people?
I'm trying to think.
Because this is the thing. The match was good, right? Mm-hmm. It took like the first half hour of the show.
Mm-hmm. Dante and the Seidel brothers.
Oh, the Seidel brothers. It was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took up the first half of the show.
Yeah.
They made Dante look really strong. He kicked out a whole bunch of V-triggers and whatnot, but then obviously he got caught. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're trying to build Dante as a new person in the roster or whatnot. I don't know. But my point is this. I feel like because there was a lack of a story going into this 6-man tag match, because it was just like a 6-man tag match for the sake of a 6-man tag match, they did too much for that match.
Sure.
It doesn't mean like, because there's nothing about it that makes me like, well, they're going to move forward and they're going to face the Seidels again, or they're feuding with Dante, because they're not. Does that make sense?
No, I agree. But like, I think like for this show specifically, bro, like they were trying to build new talent, like new faces we have.
For sure, but it was a good match. I'm not saying it was a bad match. I thought it was entertaining, and they did a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like they did too much for something that's not like an actual rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that actually mattered happened after. Christian came out, said he wanted to go after the Impact title, first match on Rampage. He wanted the TNA and Impact championships. Oh, by the way, Tony also said that Lucha Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus are going to end up getting. Jungle Express. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are going to end up getting title shots against the Young Bucks on Monday. It seems like we're heading to like the fall of that elite group. Kenny Omega ended up losing his belts, the TNA and Impact titles for Christian on Rampage in a really good match. And now today, it's Saturday today, he's facing Andrade for his AAA title, which I think Andrade might be winning that from him. And then moving forward, he might be facing either Christian or Hangman at All Out, which makes me feel like he's going to lose that AEW title. Does that mean there's potential that the Young Bucks could lose the tag titles to Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy next week?
They could, but I wouldn't be mad at that. But again, like, I feel like that would be a good way of Jungle Boy to like start off. I know he hasn't won a title yet, but like this man is over alongside Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt, and I feel like it would be a good spot for them. It really would. But I think overall, not a bad place to be. But like, I know Darby had a great match against Daniel Garcia. It was like a bit short, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it goes back to your point. I get what you're saying. They're trying to build new stars, right? And Daniel Garcia is a great dude and stuff. And I like the fact that 2.0 is being used so quickly. Like they literally went from, oh, poor guys, man. They just were starting to do stuff on NXT, and then they got released. Like that sucks for them. They got signed by AEW. I don't know who they know in that company that they got signed.
Bro, let me just say
I don't know who they're friends with, and now they're working with Sting.
Let me just say this. They are the smartest people ever because, like, they literally got the bag. Like, you really think about it, they got released. Next week, they're like, yo, put us on Dynamite. And they're working with fucking Sting.
Next week, it's 2.0 versus Sting and Darby in a street fight? These guys were on NXT drinking out of coffee mugs, just trying to get a segment on the show, got released, waited their 30 days, showed up in Dynamite, and they're working Sting?
And good for them. Good for them. And I feel like they deserve it. I know Jordan Jomo and Y2J Inventions It's Mean would really post about them. And I actually watched like one of their matches and I was like, they're really good. But to
No,
see
I
them,
remember I always kind of liked them, and especially when the other guy on the team, because there's the one guy that looks like Matt Jackson, but the other guy had a long hair at one point too, and he kind of looked like Nick Jackson. They look like rip off of Young Bucks.
yeah.
Now they don't. They look.
Now they don't.
The one guy still does look like a fat Matt Jackson. And I'm not saying that he's fat. He's just like Matt Jackson's really skinny. You just look like a thicker version.
Yeah.
And don't Jim Cornette me. I'm not calling people fat and shit. But they're standing out and good for them. I'm happy for them. And the Malachi Black promo, he had Cody's shoe. He said he did everything he said he was going to do, and people that tell the truth these days are considered fools and all this stuff. And guys, if you did not see the Malachi Black promo, go check it out. But Dynamite, seemed like they were more getting amped up for the Rampage, so Dynamite felt just a little off. Jericho ended up beating Wardlow. I was kind of thrown off about that as well because I thought MJF was supposed to be the special referee, but something happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something did happen, but I feel like that was good. Jericho's a man. I have nothing bad to say about Jericho. I will always defend him.
And he has one more labor to get through, and he can't use the Judas effect.
You know what's gonna happen?
Balls Jericho. Yeah.
Or Code Breaker.
Yeah.
Or a new finish move.
Or something. Or he wins with a roll up of doom. Let's not forget about the best thing that happened on Dynamite. QT Marshall tried to beat up Tony Schiavone's kid.
Oh man!
Well, it's a big show. Paul White came out there,
bro. That chokeslam kind of hit different. I don't know. I know you showed me a lot of Nitros back in the day, but like I visualized Big Show with long hair again on TNT, and I was like, that's fucking Paul White.
No, I don't know what the point of that was. If this is starting a QT Marshall versus Big Show feud, or Paul White wasn't on the Big Show no more, I'm down with this minor feud. A little feud somewhere in the mid card. I'm with it. I fuck with it. I'm happy. Good shit. Yeah. Good others wrestled Evil Uno and Stu Grayson in a good tag match. Dynamite once again, quality. If you want some good solid wrestling and just a good show, it was good. I'm not saying the show was bad, but it wasn't a home run, and I feel like they've been hitting a few home runs since fans have been back. This was like a solid game. It wasn't bad by no means, guys. I'm not saying it was a bad show. I just felt like it didn't hit the same as the last few weeks. But to Daniel's point, you can't hit home runs every week. You just can't.
It's a show, man. It's like a TV show, really. It's like you can't have every episode of The Office be so fucking good. Some shows are like, some episodes are just like, oh, okay, but it's building to the next episode, to the next.
I think for older television fans and older people that were around when this show was really popular, if you ever watched the show Lost, and then I remember at some point there would be these episodes about like this was one episode specifically about this one random couple that was always in the background, but they never focused on them. They were just like other people that were on the plane that were just always there, and they did a whole episode about just that couple where they both end up dying at the end of the episode, and you're like, what was that episode for? It didn't further any of the next storylines. It didn't really do anything. But it was there because it was one of the episodes of the 13 episodes they were
100%. But like, yo, listen, like I feel like I don't know if you like remember this, Andy, but in 2 weeks from now, like it's gonna be like 100 episodes of Dynamite. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but everyone that's listening, make sure to check out Dynamite in 2 weeks because it's gonna be the 100th episode, and I feel like they might do something special.
And let's fast forward now because I thought they were gonna do something really special for Rampage. Let's talk about Rampage because now they got a second weekly show. First things first, I want to say. The difference about Fridays and Monday is on Fridays, we get 2 hours of a different product, which is WWE, and then an hour of AEW. I forgot to go for a second. And for some reason, that's a lot more digestible than 3 hours of just Raw, which is the same.
100%. And I remember
the same company and the same product with the same shit going on. And I think because this week specifically, SmackDown was really good and AEW's Rampage was decently good for their first ever show. It was all really easy to digest for 3 hours of wrestling because it was different. Kind of similar to how it was when I tried to watch NXT for 2 hours, then Dynamite for 2 hours. It came off a little easier because it was two totally different products presented in two totally different ways with different production crews. So I don't for the first week of SmackDown, SmackDown and Rampage, I found it kind of easy to watch.
Mm-hmm. No, it was good, man. But I am beyond excited for my boy Christian effing Cage because, bro, I said it before, I said it again. Like WWE always like he had this glass ceiling in the WWE, and then when he went to TNA before, he really showcased that he was more than just Edge's sidekick. I always believed that he was better than Edge in a sense. Like I know I've told you that, and you kind of agree with me, but it's just like Christian's got the sauce, man. Christian is a different breed, but to see him win the Impact title, like it's good because like now he can work in Impact and elevate the guys there like Chris Bay, Ace Austin, like all these other different guys.
And I think having Christian on Impact is gonna help a little bit more than Kenny Omega.
100%.
Kenny Omega is not a big name and all of that, but
Yeah.
Christian has that history with TNA and Impact, and I feel like he can go into acting like he cares more.
Mm-hmm.
Where Omega felt like an outsider coming in there.
Yeah.
Christian feels familiar in that space.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I should address this here because I saw it in my comment section already, and I can't say I disagree. Why is it that if Cena or Edge was to win the world title, an old wrestler, or Goldberg, you'd be pissed about it, but Christian does it and it's okay.
Well, because
let me address it. They're coming at me. They're not coming at you. They're coming at me.
I know.
One, Cena's gonna leave. Goldberg's gonna leave.
Yeah.
Edge, literally his contract literally has him scheduled the same way Brock used to be scheduled. He only has to make a certain amount of appearances a year. Like he's not meant to be there each and every single week. That's not in Edge's contract.
Mm-hmm.
Christian is an every week guy for Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
He's there every week, and if they want to use him, they use him. He's not on this part-time contract. He's not on some, show up 20 appearances and 4 pay-per-views or some shit. Like he's there every single week. Daniel made a really good point on the phone call we had yesterday when we were just shooting the shit, and I brought up that someone commented that on my page as we were talking. He's like, I would compare Christian more to a Randy Orton than I would to like a John Cena and Edge because Randy Orton's there every week, and Randy Orton's still like a relevant, active part of the roster, working with the younger guys and the current guys right now.
Not even relevant, bro, but just like in touch with professional wrestling to the point where like he's kind of there every week.
He's ingrained in the actual current product. He's
that's the best way to put it.
He's ingrained in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Christian's ingrained in Dynamite every week now. He's been doing stuff with the Matt Hardy group, and he's been hanging out with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Like he's ingrained in the product. You know what I mean?
No,
he's a part of that team 100%. On a weekly basis. He's not a special appearance. He's not I'm here for WrestleMania, Rumble, and SummerSlam. I got a month off from making movies, so I'm here. He's a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
My last part of the argument is I might have been a little bit more annoyed if it was the AEW championship, but because of the TNA and the Impact title, it doesn't, because there is a part of me that would be pissed that it wasn't Hangman that beat Kenny for that AEW championship. It was Christian. I would, and that's me being completely transparent. I would, if it was the AEW championship, I would have been annoyed. But the fact that it was the TNA and the Impact championship, I'm not saying those championships don't matter, but Christian winning that is kind of cool in a sense.
It is, and it really goes back to like his days in TNA. Like it's just like and I feel like people now finally understand why Christian was kind of like in the glass ceiling. Like he was having bangers with Randy Orton and stuff, and then he kind of got the title taken away, and then that was really it. And then he retired like 3 years or 2 years after. So for him to get this opportunity, like I love Christian. I'm a peep. I'll always be a peep. And yeah, man, much respect to fellow Canadian Christian.
But that's the argument. And I always feel like, and I said this to you yesterday, right? I was like, the difference between Edge and Christian, if you want to even just compare just those two, is like I feel like Edge was always kind of like the chosen one,
the favorite,
the one that always got all a plethora of achievements. And not that Christian doesn't have a great list of achievements and accomplishments. He does tag team titles, continental championships, world championship, ECW champion, all the stuff he did in TNA. Like he has a bunch of accolades too, but you find yourselves, when it comes to Edge and Christian, rooting for Christian as if he's still the underdog. Does that make sense? Like Christian still is always the underdog,
and that's what I love.
There's Edge, but he's like the guy you expect to do shit. And then there's Christian, who you want to do shit, so you always start rooting for him. Like,
yeah.
Like, he's the little brother if they were brothers. And you're like, we know he's good. Like, he's you know, that guy's up. But the younger brother, I want him to get it too. But like,
it's like Brett. It's like the Brett and Owen comparison.
Yeah, in a sense, Edge is Brett and Christian's like Owen.
Yeah.
You're like, I want Owen to win the world title too, man. What the fuck?
No, you know? But like, yeah. It's cool, but I'm happy for Christian, and I hope Heyman gets the title, man. I've been saying it every week. I hope he wins it, and when he does win it, the crowd's gonna be static. Like,
and that's the one that I think that needs to be Hangman. I know I don't know anything. We don't know anything, but like supposedly, like his wife is due to have their child on that same weekend of All Out, so they might want to like that's why he didn't want to work that weekend or something. But I don't want to see Christian be the one to dethrone Kenny. It has to be Hangman. The story's just been laid out from all the inception of AEW
since 2019,
being the Elite, since them winning the tag titles together. Just the whole story's been Hangman and Kenny. Like that's the story that needs to be told. Talking about cool stories, if you watch the Sammy Guevara vlogs, you would be happy to see what happened with Fuego del Sol this week on Rampage. I like that they didn't just fully crush Fuego with Miro. Like Miro gave him that offense at the beginning because Fuego attacked him before the bell even rang with the tornado DDTs. But obviously what we thought was going to happen happened. Miro beat Fuego. I don't think anyone saw that going any other way. They told the story that obviously if Fuego won the TNT championship, they would have to give him a contract. So that was part of the underlying story.
Yeah.
Fuego lost. Miro ripped up the contract. Sammy came out. Tony handed him a new contract on screen. And Sammy presented Fuego del Sol with a contract to AEW. It's a happy ending to a story. Something we'll always remember that happened at the first ever Rampage. And, you know, Rampage being an hour show, like there's only so much you could do on it. And it flew by. And they had 3 matches on there, but they had little moments like this and like the backstage promo with Britt and Red Velvet. That was cool little aspects to the show too. But that was a cool moment. Happy Fuego del Sol. If you guys haven't seen my conversation with Fuego and Joe Alonso on my YouTube channel, go check it out. Joe's still trying to get that match with Fuego. They have a third one booked because Fuego didn't show up to the first 2.
Fingers crossed.
I can't wait to hear the promos now because now that Fuego's actually signed, I want to see how Joe comes back at this. He posted that video of Dolph Ziggler saying it should have been me, which is fucking ironic and hilarious. But hopefully the match actually happens between Fuego and Joe Alonso on the independent scene. But I'm happy for Fuego. Can't wait to watch a Sammy vlog this upcoming Tuesday to see the behind the scenes of all this. See if Fuego actually knew this was going to happen or not, if it was actually authentic. Good dude, man. I got to talk to him prior to doing the interview with him and Joe and just shoot the shit with him for a bit. And he's a good dude, man. I like Fuego and that redneck luchador. He's going to do some big things in AEW. He's 1-49. That's his record. He has 1 win and 49 losses, but somehow got a TNT championship shot and a contract. So anything is possible in AEW where wins and losses matter, right? Moving forward. Once again, the main event, Red Velvet versus Britt Baker. Britt Baker was over as fuck. She was in the hometown of Pittsburgh. And I think they did a really good job of not making Red Velvet look weak. I think we all knew that Britt was going to retain, and that was the situation. She was in her hometown. She was over like a baby face. But this was one of those situations where once the match was over, it didn't feel like Red Velvet got jobbed out or anything. Like she had a really good showing, and they made her look strong in defeat. With her kicking out of a curb stomp, with her breaking out of Britt Baker's submission move a couple of times, with her getting near falls. And I definitely do think that Red Velvet is someone now on the short list of people that could be contenders for the title in the future. And it's a really short list. I think it's like Riho, Shida, and Nyla because they're former champions. And then maybe like Serena, Thunder Rosa, and Red Velvet, and Jade. There's not as many women that are like I can sit there and be like they're future contenders. I don't really like Chris Statlander. Honestly, when Chris Statlander jumped in the ring after the match, I was highly disappointed because I thought there was going to be a big debut or something. And then Chris Statlander jumped in the ring. I'm like, oh no. Because I was in the clubhouse and we're like, who do you think's going to come out? Because this is their first Rampage. This is their opportunity to make a big debut. Will we get an Iconic? Will we get CJ Perry? Will we get someone new walking out here? Or maybe we'll get Mickie James, Chelsea Green. And then people are like, they do have a woman on the roster. I'm like, yeah, so maybe it could be Jade or Thunder Rosa and reignite that feud. Or maybe Serena D makes a challenge. But no, we got Chris Statlander. I was like, oh, that's boring. And then some girl comes out there in a hoodie.
That was Ronda Rousey.
Who was supposed to make some sort of big impact because we're supposed to remember who she was from 2 years ago. And it's Jamie Hayter, who's from the UK. And the reason she hasn't been here for like 2 years is because she's from the UK. I swear to God, I'm not alone on this. There's a couple of other people that felt this, but when I first saw her, I thought it was Becky Lynch. And I was like, holy shit, that's going to shake up the whole wrestling world if it was Becky Lynch. But it was Jamie Hayter. But could you imagine it was Becky Lynch?
If it was Becky? If it was Becky.
Could you imagine if it was Becky? Like, what kind of coup would that have been? Like, holy shit. But it was Jamie Hayter. I don't know much about her. I don't remember her when she was on Dynamite. I don't know if we were supposed to pop for that. But hopefully she does something that makes me like her. But it was okay. It was a good end of the show. The one main event. The first
it was good. I enjoyed it. I love the Chris moment and I like how it's 1 hour because yeah, it's after SmackDown, so it's like, oh, like if you want to watch more wrestling, like, yo, let's go on Rampage, just watch this. It's 1 hour.
Only complaint is I wish the production of it was a little bit different than Dynamite because a lot of it looks exactly the same to Dynamite. That's my only complaint. And I know it's like such a minimal thing to complain about, but like in all companies in the past, whether it was WCW, WWE, like they distinguish the shows, you know, like, and it's usually been a battle between red and blue. Nitro was red, Thunder was blue, Raw's red,
Nitro's a different vibe.
Smackdown is blue. I feel like there's not much of a different feel between Rampage and Dynamite. Production and wise. Commentary, what I think Rampage is going to end up being is like a lot of like maybe 2 or 3 solid matches a week. I think what Rampage is going to end up being, because an hour show, is probably like 2 really good matches and a promo, or just 3 really good matches every week. Like that's what's going to be. So there's going to be 3 really good matches or 2 matches and a promo. Like that's what Rampage is going to end up becoming, which is fine. And you build Rampage every week from Dynamite, you push what's going to happen on Rampage. Whereas the dark shows end up remaining to be just squash matches. Rampage will still have solid matches and maybe just 2 matches in a promo or 3 matches a week. I feel like I said that multiple times, so it'll get sunk in your head. But I do think that something needs to feel different, whether it's like, yo, just change the colors of the ropes. I don't know, just like distinguish it to feel like its own. Put the commentary table on the side, beside the ring, rather than up on the stage for Rampage, but then have it on the stage for Dynamite. You know what I mean? Like, it's like there just needs to be something that distinguishes it as a different show other than just the commentary and the name and the intro. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. But overall, Tony Khan,
But that's just me. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree 100%.
Or like if they enter from the tunnels on Dynamite, have them enter from the center on Rampage. Just like something needs to be different. Like this needs to be like.
But like, I don't want to like jump to the.
I'm nitpicking. I know I'm nitpicking.
I feel like you're nitpicking because like, you know, you're older than me. You've been around.
I just have an attention to detail, and I'm like, if you get to do something new, then make it different. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm watching an extra hour of Dynamite that's on Friday for some reason.
No, 100%. But I feel like, yo, you know what? Give it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like, see what they do. Because I know Tony Khan probably, like, yo, he's probably under pressure right now, right? Like, he wants to book the best company in the world for wrestling. And, like, let it marinate. Let it just sit there. And then I feel like,
you know, maybe next week will be something will be different, or 2 weeks from next week will be different. Like, I'm just saying, I'm hoping that they somehow differentiate the vibe of Rampage from Dynamite, because the vibe felt very the same other than outside of the commentary. And no, I'm not gonna lie, the vibe did feel different. It did feel different because I knew I wasn't, because with Dynamite I think I have a higher expectation of I want more promos, I want more of this and that. Well, with Rampage I was okay with it just being 3 matches and a couple of stuff like little things in the middle, because I know, like a backstage interview and this and that, because I know that it's only an hour. So like the vibe is definitely different already. I know it's only an hour, so I know we don't have that kind of time. But I just the look, the presentation is what I think I need to be a little bit different.
No, 100%. Presentation is key. I agree. I know you're a big guy on that, and I agree with.
It's like, imagine this was my presentation for the TWC show, and then you went to Casual Conversations, and it was the same Wrestling Classic background and the same logo.
Yeah,
there's no differentiating the two of them now.
Because then you'd be like, oh, what?
They're supposed to be two different shows. No, like this is all red. If you're watching on Patreon, like the whole colorful, or if you see my clips that I posted on my Instagram page, like the clips of this is all like we got red name tags, we got black. It's like black, red, and white. But you watch Casual Conversation, it's like this neon turquoise and a red. And, you know, like it's a different vibe and a different presentation because you want to differentiate that's two different shows. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, enjoyed this week of wrestling. Glad Keith Lee is doing better. He shared with us what was wrong with him with his enlarged heart and all that. He didn't have to share that with us, but he did. Grateful he's healthy. But other than that, I think that's it, man. Is there anything else you want to add about this week?
No, but congratulations on the Gary Vee thing. That makes me super happy because I know I'm not trying to get sent to here, but I've been following you since 2016, and this is cool. I know you wanted to do something for a long time like this, and it's cool to see a brother like you succeed and do this, and provide a voice in the rest of the community that's trusted and has been doing it for so long significantly and has evolved throughout the years. And I hope one day you get signed.
Look at this guy trying to get me signed somewhere. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to all you guys checking out. It's a cool interview. It's cool to show a different side of Gary Vaynerchuk. I know a lot of people know him as that motivational speaker and the entrepreneur, the guy that might talk a lot on social media, and he's this mile per minute. He's a really fast talker and whatnot. But I got to talk to him about a different side of his life and him being a wrestling fan and a part of our family and why wrestling means so much to him. So, guys, it's Tuesday. If you're subscribed to the TWC Show, it'll show up on your audio feed for the TWC Show. And if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, you'll get the notification that it's available to watch. It's only like 26 minutes, guys. It's not a long interview, so easy to digest.
Go check it out, or I'm going to come to your house and kill you. Kidding.
Canadian psycho over here. But other than that, guys, keep doing the thing. Embrace the madness. What a lifestyle. See you all next
always
week.
Stealing my life.
Ooh, yeah. Dig it.